All right, guys, in today's video, we're going to look at activity 16.1, as well as a few other things. So all you guys need is your book. Everything else I'm going to kind of walk you through. All right, so today we're going to talk about kind of three different types of measurement. So the first type of measurement we're going to talk about is linear. If I have a straight line or a curved line, so I have this piece of string and I have a ruler. So anytime we measure something straight like this is called a linear measurement. So I can see my string is about 6 inches long. If I flip my ruler over, it also has centimeters. My ruler is about 16 and a half, maybe 17 centimeters long. So if I look at this unit list here on 16.1, I see millimeters, feet, meters, and then I see squared inches, squared feet, squared miles, cubic kilometers, cubic yards. So these first three, these are what we use to measure a straight line. Millimeters, feet, meters, we can measure miles, inches, centimeters, lots of different things. These are all linear units of measurement. All right, so that'd be something like measuring a line, a straight line. All right, the second thing we have is what we call squared units. So these are used to measure two-dimensional shapes. So this is when we're finding area, basically. So we have square inches, square feet, square miles. Those are all squared units. So I have a sticky note here, and we can see if I flip it over, I have made little squares. So each of these squares is 1 inch by 1 inch. This is a unit square, a 1 inch square. So this sticky note is 15 square inches as an area. That's what we call a squared measurement. All right, so those two you should be pretty familiar with. We do a lot of those in our younger grades, 4th, 5th grade. All right, the third one we have is what we call cubic measurements, and that's what we use to measure volume. If I have a 3D shape, so I have a cube here, so we would measure this cube using cubic measurements. So we can see cubic kilometers, cubic yards. Those are both way too big to measure this cube, but these are called cubic measurements. So we're going to do a little more with this cube after we look at 16.1. All right, so again, we have linear units, squared units, and cubic units. So if I look at my list here, the perimeter of a parking lot. So I'm talking the perimeter, I'm talking about the outside, those lines that would make up the outside. So that would be a linear unit. So we want to look and we want to think, would I measure that in millimeters, feet, or meters? What would be the best one? And depending how big the parking lot is, we may want something even bigger, but the biggest one of those is meters. Meters is going to be our most logical choice. All right. Next, we have volume of a semi-truck. So we talked about anytime we have volume, we're talking about cubic measurements. So it's going to be one of these two. So a cubic kilometer, that means it's 1 kilometer long, 1 kilometer wide, and 1 kilometer high. So that's huge. That's way bigger than a semi-truck. Even though a semi-truck is big, that's way bigger than a semi-truck. Cubic yards, that's 1 yard by 1 yard by 1 yard. So the volume of a semi-truck we would measure in cubic yards. All right, surface area of a refrigerator. Again, we see that word area, so that tells me it's going to be a square measurement. So we have square inches, square feet, square miles. Again, miles are huge. That's way too big. Inches are pretty little. We could use inches, but inches are pretty small. Probably our best measurement would be square feet. All right, next we have the length of an eyelash. So an eyelash is a straight line. That's going to be a linear measurement, and an eyelash is fairly short. So feet is going to be way too long. Meters is way too long. So we're going to use millimeters. All right, the area of a state. Again, when we're talking about area, we're talking about squared units. So the area of a state, that's really big. So square inches and square feet are way too small. We're going to want to use squared miles. All right, next we have volume of an ocean. So the ocean is huge. All of our oceans are absolutely huge. They're very deep. They're very wide. So cubic yards is just way too small. The number would be huge. So we're going to use cubic kilometers for this. All right. And we're going to skip 7 and 8. All right. So we're going to go back. We're going to talk more about volume. What is volume? All right. So if you think back to surface area, when we talked about surface area, we had a filing cabinet, and the guy covered the filing cabinet in sticky notes. So we're going to do a similar activity, except when we talk about volume, we're talking about how many cubes. So in my hand here, I have a cube. How many cubes fit inside of a three-dimensional shape? So I have a cube here, and we have picked a cube because it's a nice one to do. All right, so we're going to fill this cube up with smaller cubes. This cube is 1 inch high, 1 inch long, 1 inch wide. So it's a 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch cube. So we want to see how many of these fit in here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, but that's only one row of this cube. So we can see that's only a small part of the cube. I have to fill the whole cube up. So I need to keep going. I need to keep adding cubes. So I'm at 16 right now, so I have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So I'm still not done. That was another row of 16 squares. So now I have 2 rows of 16 squares. So I have 32 cubes in there. And now I have another row. I'm going to make another row of cubes. So that's 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So that's again another row of 16 cubes. So I can say I have 1, 2, 3 rows of 16 cubes, which is 48 cubes, but I'm still not done. I still have space. So I'm going to add another row. We can see this row is going to get to the top. So I'm at 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64 cubes to fill up this whole cube. Now we can see that there's 64 smaller cubes in the larger cube. So there's 4 rows, and each row has 16 cubes. So that is what volume is. When we talk about volume, it's how many small cubes can fit inside a larger cube. All right? So hopefully that is helpful in today's activities. Have a good day. Bye.